Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Halloween Kills. So, just like the title says, this is my very first Halloween movie I've ever watched in the entire franchise. See, the first movie came out in '78. I wasn't even born then. And then with the second and the third movie, I still wasn't born then. And so these movies, like when I was born, they didn't come out later on until '88. And so it was before my time. And like I told you before, Scream is what got me into like horror movies, slasher movies and stuff. And so even though I know what Halloween is, and I know what the killer looks like and Jamie Lee Curtis and all that, I never knew exactly what the whole story like was about. I never bothered to like research it on Wikipedia. I never bothered to look at clips because I never bothered to rent it at like Blockbuster. And then I never even bothered to look for it on streaming. But you know, this movie has piqued my curiosity because a few weeks ago, Halloween Ends, the trailer came out, and people were saying this can't be like, you know, the real Michael Myers, because they said like his fingers should be like chopped off on one of his hands and stuff. And in the trailer, they're like there, you know. And so, like, this is what's confusing people when they see the trailer in the beginning. Now, this could be a dream sequence. It could be somebody else. Like, who knows, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, he's supposed to be missing a couple of fingers and everything. And so, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, whatever. And so, I still wasn't really interested. But it just been kind of in my mind, you know what I'm saying? And then I saw a trailer where Jamie Lee Curtis' character, Laurie, was all like, you know, he killed my daughter, like, last, like, Halloween and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of more interested. I'm like, oh, but that sucks about her daughter. And I recognize the actress who plays her daughter, Judy Greer. And so, like, I just kind of get like a little bit more curious, but I wasn't really that curious. And then I saw it was on HBO Max. I'm like, well, I might as well watch it while I still have it, right? And so I watched it. And I was so confused as what was going on and stuff. I mean, I recognize the music, but it's like, other than that, I don't really know. Now, I will say, I do like the upgrade in his mask. When they show like the flashbacks of the older first mask, it just looked like a thin, boring mask. But I like this upgrade. It makes him look more edgy and stuff. And plus, you know, I also wanted to watch it because of Jamie Lee Curtis and everything. And so that was my main reason for wanting to watch this, Jamie Lee Curtis. Sucky thing is she's barely in the movie and she's not even really fighting him at all and everything. So that kind of like just bummed me out and everything. Now I do find this movie interesting and intriguing, but I don't know. See, if I was gonna, like I told myself before, if I was ever gonna watch these movies, I need to start with the first one, or at least the first one in this kind of like retcon, like, you know, reboot, revival type thing that they've been doing for the last couple of years. I need to watch at least one of those, but I can't find it nowhere on streaming, and I'm not paying money to see it. But I am very, like, you know, intrigued. However, I don't know, I wasn't really, you know, I'm intrigued. I just wasn't really all that thrilled with this movie and stuff. And that's because mostly, like, just the plot. Like, he just walks around killing people. He's not even going after Laurie, and townspeople mobilize and try to kill him. And that's basically the entire movie. And so, like, you know, it was just kind of like, okay. And so, you know, I've done some research to see, you know, what these movies are about on Wikipedia. And it's quite fascinating, like I said before, you know, like the first two movies people really like. But then comes the third one, Season of the Witch, that just didn't have nobody from like the movie. Like it didn't have Laurie, it didn't even have Mike in there. And so then, you know, they brought Michael Myers back in the fourth movie and stuff. And then, but a lot of people keep saying that the fourth and the fifth movie, and even the sixth, aren't that great. Now, I do remember when Halloween H2O came out, and I never knew why it was called H2O. I know what H2O is in terms of like water and stuff, but I was like, what does water have to do with this? And so when it comes to H2O on Resurrection and everything, that's when the movies and slasher movies started to have more diversity in it. Because back in the older days, you know, slasher movies were predominantly white. And so with these two installments, they started having like a black cast. And that's when other slasher movies started doing it and stuff. However, this is the main problem I'm having. Okay, here's the thing. You know how I've said before when it comes to like woke culture, there's nothing wrong with it. But like, if you're gonna do it, make sure you know people who know their craft. And so when they started casting people like LL Cool J and Busta Rhymes and Tara Banks, why them? You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, I don't know about LL Cool J today, but back in the day, like in the 90s, his acting wasn't all that great. And I've never seen Busta Rhymes act, but I doubt he can. And as for Tara Banks, like, I've seen her in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I like that. But I don't know how she is other than that. So it's kind of like, if you're gonna cast somebody, make sure you actually cast an actual actor and actress. Well, of course, fans didn't like their acting and everything, and they started seeing the numbers drop for, like, the money and everything. And so when they reboot the whole thing with the Rob Zombie stuff, let's just say diversity was gone in these movies. And then so when they brought diversity back with the Jamie Lee Curtis back in 2009, and especially with Halloween Kills, no, 2018, my bad. In 2018, she came back and everything again. You know, they started bringing back diversity again, but only to have the stereotypical slasher movie, like, you know, diversity where like your people of color die like in the movie, or like they're given a job that's important like doctor or sheriff, but you don't see them do much. So that's quite a shame that the studio got scared and went back to their old formula and everything. But Halloween Kills does have some diverse characters. They have a gay couple, they have some black folks in it, but that's about it. And of course they just all are there just to die and everything. And so with this movie, and you know, I've been wondering, why did Jamie Lee Curtis come back after all these years? Because when she left after the third, and even in the fourth and the fifth, they introduced, like, you know, her daughter, played by Danielle Harris. And what's ironic about this is that her character she played is not in this retcon revival thing starting in 2018. Now she has a different daughter and a granddaughter. So it's kind of like, what happened to the Danielle Harris character and stuff? And Danielle Harris does want to come back, but now with this supposedly being the last movie, Halloween Ends, I don't see her name nowhere. So, you know, I doubt she's gonna be like, you know, in the movie and stuff. And that's quite a shame because people, from what I've heard, really like her character and stuff. And she was helping the franchise out when Jamie Lee left. Now, Jamie Lee probably came back because they probably begged her to come back, and they probably gave her more money. And, you know, these movies made her famous. She started doing more stuff like this. And then she started doing other movies. And like, but you know, Hollywood hasn't really been like banging down her door that often and stuff, which is quite a shame because she's a really good actress. Now, what I will say about this movie, one thing I did like is, like, you know, it was cool seeing townspeople trying to fight back against Michael Myers. They're tired of this dude. He's been terrorizing them for 30 years every Halloween and stuff. And so, like, because I was wondering, like, where's Laurie? Where's Laurie? Then we finally see her, but she's bleeding and everything from the events of the last movie, which I have no idea what happened to her. But she trapped Michael in there and set the house on fire. But then, of course, he got out somehow, and the fire department was there. So the fire department tried to fight him. And I like the one dude who had the saw, but that wasn't good enough. This dude is literally just a killing machine and stuff. But it was kind of like, because I remember, like, the only clips I've ever seen of this was in the Scream movie. And they literally say, like, you know, when Billy and Stu started explaining why they did this, you know, they saw, like, sometimes it's better when you don't have a motive and everything. And Michael Myers doesn't seem to have a motive, and he just like killing just for killing. And sometimes his deaths, like when they were killing people, it was kind of hilarious and stuff. Like he'll just walk up and stab him in the neck or something like that. But then like the funniest death was the female doctor lady who was dressed as sexy nurse, the black lady. So she's just coming in like shooting with the gun and everything. And she's just there shooting, and she just keep like firing, and she doesn't stop. All he had to do was kick the door open, and as she's still firing with the gun, the door hits the gun, turns her wrist around, and she blows herself in the face. I'm just like, come on, man. That's like some ninja skill right there and stuff. But like, yeah, so Laurie, she doesn't know that he's alive, but after a while she finds out. And this woman is gun-ho, man. She takes like some meds, and she just jabs it in like her stomach after she just got through having surgery and everything, and she shoots herself up, and she's all like, it's gonna take away the pain and everything. I'm like, man, she is determined, because she's tired of this crap, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I wanted to see Sidney in like Scream 5, but they didn't do that crap, you know? And so like she thinks he's after her, but he's really not. He just wants to kill people and go home and everything. And so what I did also like was the town mobilizing. However, not necessarily the way that they did it. See, I've always wondered and stuff, how come in slasher movies townsfolk don't do that? How come they just don't mobilize and go after the killer? You know what I'm saying? And so these people did. They finally had enough. And her granddaughter was one of those people. The daughter stayed behind because she's still upset about her husband dying in the last movie. And so, but when the people mobilized, it was literally a giant mob of over 50 people. And they overran the police department there to where they couldn't even control them. But what I did not like is that for some bizarre reason, they thought this one escaped inmate was Michael Myers. And it's kind of like, how would they think that? Because their body shapes are off. Michael Myers is like over 6 foot tall, very built. Like, and he's not muscular, but he's very blockish. Like, you know, he got some, like, you know, some, like, stout to him and everything. This dude was a little bit shorter and bigger. And, you know, but they kept chasing after this dude for something, all because they thought it was him because he got into that one car and tried to run them over. But it's kind of like, you know, what would make them think it's him? So they could not see past their own like hatred and stuff, and they just went after this dude like a mob does. And the daughter is trying her best to save this man, but it is no saving this man. So he jumps out the window. He knows if he doesn't, he's gonna get killed by them, and he dies anyway. Then they realize the mistake they made and everything, and it calms their behind down. But then, you know, when Michael goes back to his house and he kills the gay couple and everything, the granddaughter and like her dude and stuff, they find Michael at the house. Now, this is the thing I had a problem with. I wanted just to see Laurie take front and center action and everything, and fight Michael and everything. I didn't want her granddaughter to do it, or her daughter and stuff, and that's basically what happened. The daughter goes there, the granddaughter goes there, and, you know, they fight Michael and everything, and then the daughter ends up losing her life. And, you know, it's not how I wanted this, my first Halloween movie to go. I wanted to see Laurie and everything. And so, like, you know, and dude, no matter how many times, like, I know I heard that in Scream, like, no matter how many times you kill the killer and stab him and shoot him, they're always like, how is this man still alive? How? I don't get it. Now, I am glad they took off his mask and we got to see a little bit of his face. And, you know, when he wears his mask, you always think he's younger. But then you gotta remember, oh, wait a minute, if Laurie's this old and this was back in the 70s, then he has to be old. And I like how they show he's balding with a little gray hair and there's a wrinkle in his face and stuff like that. And because he's supposed to be an older man, and this old man can fight. He's literally like a supernatural beast who will not die. I don't understand that. Like, how are they ever supposed to kill this dude unless they chop his head off or something like that? And so, yeah, coming into Halloween Ends, I don't know if I'll see that or not, but now I'm very curious and everything. And I'm still trying to find the older movies somewhere on stream. With this being October, they're bound to come up on some like free streaming site, 'cause I am not paying. I'm tired of paying for crap. That's why I got rid of my, whatchamacallem, the other streaming sites I have. And so, even though this is my first movie, a Halloween movie, I am a little disappointed. It's not really how I thought it was going to be. Now, if Laurie would have taken front and center and everything, and she mobilized like the people and stuff like that, and that would have been cooler, you know. And at least she had to do more than just doing what she did. Now, it was cool seeing the older cast from the first movie who survived in this movie. I love when they do stuff. That's the kind of cameo. It ain't really a cameo, but that's the kind of, like, you know, hype you need and everything. And I was very, very, very shocked to find out that Kyle Richards is an actual legit actress. I had no idea. I just thought she was some reality star on one of those Desperate Housewives type shows or whatever you call it and stuff. But I had no idea she has an actual full acting resume. Like, that's really shocked the crap out of me and everything. But yeah, this movie, I just wish it was like, I just wish Laurie was in it more and did more. That's all I wish, you know? Other than that, it would have been totally fine. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.